All right, baseball fans, welcome. This will be our first Sunday morning video chat. You know, in past years, we've done these Sunday morning chats and we've had to transcribe and do it all in text. And now through Zoom, we're able to do these things in video. So our first Sunday morning chat on video is a very special one for us today. We've got Taravella Manager Joe Giummule with us. Joey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Ant?
I'm doing great, man. We're going to give this a shot. People out there, bear with us. This is our first video chat, so who knows where this is going to go. But we're going to start off here. Where you at, Joe? Why don't you tell me where you're at?
I am currently in the hospital. My wife gave birth yesterday at 11:57 a.m., and this will be our last night here, and we'll be home tomorrow.
That's awesome, man. Congrats on the baby.
Thanks.
Isabel, congrats on her.
Yes.
Well, wife's well. Everybody's good?
Yeah. Let me, she's like half asleep over here. Well, now she's sleeping. All of a sudden she's sleeping.
The power of Zoom. We get to zoom right in on the new mother. Sleeping.
So there's Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. Congrats.
And here's Isabella.
There it is. There she is. There she is, folks. We get our first video of Isabella. Comes courtesy of HSBN. Awesome. So tell me a little bit. You're in the hospital. Tell me, I mean, that had to be a little scary. Obviously, you guys, with everything that's going on, you're walking into a hospital. Tell me how that experience went.
It's been enjoyable. They've treated us really well here. We've prepped for this for some time. We've known, you know, what the circumstances were, and you know what type of adjustments our family had to make as far and including us. And so we checked in on Wednesday, and we had a family that stopped by, and they, you know, said hi to us from outside the hospital. We had a first floor with window access. So Nicole's mom came, my aunt came, my dad came, and then the next day we gave birth. Yesterday we gave birth, and they all stopped by yesterday about an hour after birth, and they were able to see the baby from the window for, you know, a half an hour or so. And tomorrow we'll get to go home, and then we'll have family over, and they'll be outside in the patio. So once again, they'll be, you know, saying hi to the baby from outside, looking in through the glass sliders. Nicole and I have decided, you know, we're going to be very cautious and, you know, not let anybody in the house for at least a couple of weeks for the baby's immune system to, you know, to kick in. And then we'll just play it by ear from that point. Our family has been understanding. It's, you know, it's hard for them. It's, you know, I feel really bad for Nicole. It's our first baby, and, you know, we're not enjoying it with our family, but we're able to put our imprint on things. And that's kind of how we're taking it, is, you know, the foundation of the baby, and we'll be just with us for right now.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about how you talked a little about the hospital, but you know, you and me, we're both on social media. You see all the reports coming out, the news, everything that's going on with the social media. So, I mean, what's the reality of it? Is everybody walking around on eggshells, or is it just another day in the hospital? And are things, you know, the portrayal of how things are in the hospital, particularly this hospital, it's Coral Springs. So
Right.
Talk about that.
Well, I don't really leave the room much, but if I do, I'm wearing a mask. I went downstairs to pick up some delivery food. My sisters had dinner delivered for us, so I went downstairs. I wasn't allowed to leave the hospital. I grabbed the bags, came back to the room, disinfected myself. Nicole was tested when she entered the hospital. She was negative. They did not test me because I'm not a patient. So that was kind of how it worked coming here. Beforehand, for the last, I don't know, since March, Nicole was the only one allowed into doctor visits, so I would drive her to the appointment. She would go in, and I would walk around the office buildings and get a workout in, waiting for her to come out with, with hopefully good news, which we got, consistently. So Nicole hasn't left the house at all other than going to doctor's appointments. I was only going to, Publix or Doris, CVS. I wasn't going into Targets or Walmarts, or, I wasn't going to meet up any buddies or working out with anybody. We kind of just did things, I just kind of did things that I needed to do alone, and just spent the last 2.5 months with Nicole, and, some really good quality.
So I want to get into some of the baseball stuff, but I had this question for later. I want to bring it up now, since we are talking about the baby and you becoming a father for the first time.
Right.
But back in October, I had my first grandson, and my perspective almost changed instantly in the hospital. I mean, it was crazy. The last 5 months of how much I view things, how everything's changed for me in 5 months. So I'm wondering, I know it's only been a day, but it almost hits you instantly. Like, are you feeling anything different? Are you feeling, even in relation to baseball? I mean, people say when they have their kids that it kind of changes things. So what are you feeling about all that?
I mean, it hasn't hit me just yet. I'm in a hospital with just my wife and the baby. There's no family around. We've done FaceTime with the family, so it's it's a little surreal. We're not in our house. I'm just trying to be supportive and help out as much as I can. With the baby right now. So yeah, it probably hasn't hit me quite yet. Everyone's told me the same things. My life's going to change, and things like that, and I'm sure it will, and I'm prepared for that, and I'm excited to see this next chapter.
So let's pivot a little bit to the baseball. Obviously, you're the manager over there at Taravella. You've been in contact with your players. You've dealt with this situation now. We're starting to a little bit come out of it on the other side, as far as at least getting back into the public, everybody getting outside again. But take me through how your specific team has been dealing with the whole situation.
Okay, well, just this week, actually, on Monday, one of my assistant coaches, Rob Libio, and my booster club arranged for a senior parade, and we held that at one of the senior parents' house. And so I got to give credit to Rob and my booster club for setting that up and organizing it. The players were outside on a corner of a house with their senior banners, and we all met up at a park a few houses down. And Nicole actually went with me. So this was Monday. Nicole actually went with me, and we stayed in our car, and we wore our masks, and we rolled down the window, and we waved at the players, and we were given whistles and pom-poms and graffiti and things like that. And I want to say, give or take, there was probably 60 cars that participated in the event. It looked like the guys were having a great time. All the feedback was real positive. So, I'm thankful that I have a supportive booster club, and I have, some coaches that are, influential in doing, positive things. And, I just wanted to make sure that, we were doing things the right way.
Yeah, it's awesome. From my perspective, I mean, seeing all these teams, it's really been amazing to me to see, not only in baseball and sports, but how, people are just coming up with such amazing ways to keep in contact with people.
Yeah. I might have been, if I wasn't having a baby, if I wasn't in the situation I was in, I probably would have been outside on the corner with my players, hugging each and every one of them. But I just participated like a fan. So I was a fan on Monday. the guys are sending me videos, of them squatting, bench pressing, doing some of the workouts that we were doing in the fall. Some are taking video of them hitting and throwing bullpen. So my guys are getting after it as much as they can. The emphasis has really been to work on their bodies, and a lot of them are doing that. Like I saw a rising junior that's probably put on 15 pounds, and he looks like so that's exciting, that these guys are getting after it and trying to work on the things that we talked about. We talked about, take this time to rest, work your arm with, arm care, hit the weights, work on SAT prep, make sure that your fourth quarter grades are as high as they possibly can, help your GPA out, so those were the things that we've kind of discussed, when we went into this lockdown period is, control the control. We can't go to the school. We can't get on the field. We can't play games, but you can make sure that your grades are high. You can make sure that you're working out. You can make sure that you're doing your arm care. You can make sure that you're taking reps off the tee or front tossing with a friend. You can make sure that you're, throwing. So most of the guys are doing what they need to do. We have some highly motivated players, and they're itching to get after it.
And then for those of you guys that don't know, this is our second video. This is our first video chat, but we did launch our Yard Talk with Rich and Ernie. And our first topic was college coaches and admissions, and now the new admission standards and everything else. And I encourage all you guys, and Joe, we were talking about beforehand as far as everybody watching it, because it was very educational with some of the top college coaches around. But one of the things that George said towards the end was that, the academics are more important than ever right now, because the universities are loosening their standards a little bit, and the SATs and everything else. But what George was saying was that he's got his pick of the litter of his baseball players now, because of the crossover and because of some of his players that are staying, that it's become so tight that he no longer has to reach. There's good athletes that are all at 3.8 and all at 3.9. So even the 3.4s and the 3.2s, are being left out a little bit. So it's a very important point that you bring up, and it's something that he hit on, that, that the academics, which you guys as coaches preach all the time, this is when all that work that they've put in with that, this is when it really is going to stand out, when you say this is what you worked for, because it's going to be the cream of the crop academically that get into these colleges. Yeah,
for sure. I'm sending 2 seniors to St. Thomas, next fall. And, it took some time because, those transcripts, they got to look a certain way, they give you a portion of baseball money, you get some financial aid, and then, it comes down to that total package, and, does it make sense, and so those grades have to be up there so that they can get, a nice academic portion paid for, and then, they'll supplement with the baseball money on top of that. So yeah, if you've got a kid that's got a 4.0 GPA and a 1300 SAT, he's all likely going to get offered more opportunities just based on the grades and the test scores. Part of it is the baseball part. The hardest part is the grades and the test scores. So that's always been my emphasis. And what good is it to expose yourself, in the travel ball circuit over the summer if your grades aren't there? This is a great opportunity for kids to really take course recovery classes this summer, SAT prep this summer, because that's going to help the majority of players more so than getting out and playing travel ball this summer, especially with it's very unlikely that college coaches are going to be able to get out on the road this summer. I mean, I guess rumors were that it wasn't going to be till August 1st. I know the NCAA came out with voluntary workouts for Division I programs for football. I think that announcement came out yesterday. So we'll see how that, how that transpires. I don't know if it's going to be, only a certain amount of players at a time or whatnot. But if football isn't practicing, baseball coaches aren't going to be allowed out,
Right.
So, this is, like I said, it's a great time for the players or, get course recovery, make sure their fourth quarter grades are as high as possible and start prepping for the SAT and working on their bodies. That's my message to my players and to anybody else that's, wants to play at the next level.
Right. And to your point, I mean, that our next topic was going to be summer baseball, because I have coaches calling me every day, saying, hey, what are we doing about summer league? Are we going to have a summer league? And, nobody wants baseball back more than me. I mean, it's my business. So obviously nobody wants it back more than me, but, there has to be some common sense with it, considering, like you just said, the college coaches probably aren't going to be able to be at all these big tournaments. And so,
Right.
so the whole allure of going to them and the whole excitement of going to them is a lot of it's taken away already, on top of, any potential threat that might be there. So, I mean, tell me a little bit about your team, your guys. What have you talked to them about as far as summer ball? Are they all doing it? Are they still doing it? Or are they taking your advice, and are they focusing on, the SATs and the academics and just taking a break after year of baseball,
I always hold a summer team, so we have the Vela summer team. And we work out twice a week and we play games twice a week, and we go all of June and all of July. Well, we're not doing that this year. I don't have access to the room. I don't have access to the field. So we will not be doing that. And I would say I get like 24 players to participate in that, so
do you find those 24 are going to go elsewhere this summer, or do you think that they're going to, like you said, focus on some other things?
I'm hoping they focus on some other things. Look, you can play in a ball game and walk on 4 pitches. Your next at bat, you're asked to sacrifice bunt. You lay down a bunt, and then your next at bat, you get hit by a pitch. So you've had 3 at bats, and you didn't take a swing.
Right.
They can get on a tee and take 1,000 swings. So
the focus you think is still be on individual improvement.
Yes. Work on their craft, work on their weaknesses, work on their bodies, work on their bodies. That's the biggest thing. I'll know the first time I see them what they've done.
Right.
Work on their bodies. So we're not having our Taravella summer team. I know some guys are playing the travel ball circuit, but last week's tournament was already canceled.
Right.
I don't know what tournaments are going to be held. I don't know what teams are going to be participating in these tournaments, or, what type of level of play is going to be in these tournaments. I mean, it's a lot of money to play travel ball.
Right.
The average cost is $2,000 to play. That sometimes includes a uniform. It sometimes doesn't. Then you get into hotels and travel. I personally wouldn't want to be staying in a hotel, but that's just me.
Parents don't have the money that they've had in previous.
And then that's the other aspect. I mean, there's people that have been out of work, so you've got to weigh, all the costs and what works best for you. Everybody is different. There's some kids I would say you need to be doing this, and some kids I would recommend you need to be doing this. It's not cookie cutter. Some kids need to be seen, and some kids need to really work on their bodies, improve their grades, because it doesn't matter if you're being seen if you're not, if your grades aren't there yet, or if you're not ready to impress a college coach. If you're 5'7" and you weigh 130 pounds and you throw 78 miles per hour, you're not going to be offered a college scholarship. That's just the way it is. So every kid is different. What grade they're in, there's a lot of variables. And I talk to my players individually if they ask. If they want my opinion, I'm going to give them what I think would be best for them. I'm not going to just, call a kid and tell them you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. I want my kids to get exposure. It makes my job easier. If they're playing travel ball and they're exposing themselves, that is great. But can you afford it? Like, take that money and put it into SAT prep. Take that money and put it into a personal trainer or pitching lessons or hitting lessons. Improve your craft.
Sure.
So, there's a ton of kids playing baseball, and there's a ton of talented players, especially here in South Florida. So, you have to stand out.
So I'm gonna finish. I know you have a family to get back to there, so I'm gonna finish this off with a little conversation. I'm gonna let you have the last word as far as where do you go from here. You are going to go back to school. It looks like, at this point, it looks like, there possibly is going to be school again come August or September, and at that point, they're going to be looking to you for leadership. Is where do we go from here with our fall league? You're almost starting from new because these kids may not have done nothing for 4 or 5 months by that point. So have you started to think at all about what your fall program is going to look like and how you're going to proceed?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have. I'm really excited about what we do at Taravella. From our summer program to our fall program. So I'm ready to get back at it. I'm big on routines, and this isn't any fun staying home. The silver lining is my wife was pregnant. We were having our first child. I was able to spend quality time with her and help her out. She doesn't have family close by, so I was able to take her to doctor's appointments and help around the house and do the grocery shopping. So, that's the silver lining. But at the end of the day, I love teaching. I love coaching baseball. And, I know how to balance things out, and I'm excited to get back to work and to get back in the weight room and to get back on the baseball field. But quite honestly, I don't know how any of that's going to look. I don't, there's many different rumors out there that, you'll have an A day where certain kids come on A day and a B day where certain kids come. I don't know if we're going to be able to use the facility, the weight room. So, I've got everything on paper, of my workout plans and calendars of how we do everything. So, at the end of the day, it's whatever we're allowed to do, we will do it to, fidelity. We'll be ready to go at it as soon as we can. And, we'll do our 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, give the boys off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, we go the whole fall. We start up right away and we go the entire fall. And, when we come back to school, regardless of COVID or not, I always assume they did nothing. I always assume that. My eyes will tell me if they did. The first time I see them, I'll know if they did something, and, we assume they do nothing, and we gradually get into things. I mean, the first week we'll throw 1 day that week to 90 feet. We'll gradually get into our throwing program. We're not going to just start, maxing out, in the weight room. We'll gradually get into things. So when my boss tells me what we can do, then we'll go at it. But, listen, I hope we have a fall program because, we have a lot of kids that need that. We have a lot of kids that aspire to be college baseball players, maybe even, be professional baseball players. They need this day-to-day activity and routine. My guys are working out and they're doing things, but usually at this time of the year, they've already gone through 3.5 months of 6 days a week of throwing and hitting and lifting, and now, they're working out on their own. It's just not the same. So, you know, we'll see, we'll see what the guidelines are. You know, I don't know. Maybe they only allow us to have 10 guys in a weight room. So, you know, I've got to come up with a rotation. I'm not the only sport that's going to want to use the weight room. You know, football's going to want to be in there. Basketball's going to want to be in there. So, you know, we might have to look at some alternative situations, you know, maybe a local gym, you know, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And, you know, we're going to get the guys prepared, you know, so that, you know, we can make a run at the district tournament, you know, like we try and do every single year.
Well, right now you need to just worry about taking care of that family of yours.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, and this was fun. First Zoom Sunday morning chat, and I appreciate you coming on. Tell Nicole congratulations, and I look forward to meeting the little one soon.
I will. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate it.
All right, Joey.